You know, I can't get over it. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I just can't. It's like a nightmare. I can't get over it.
Oh, for fudge's sake, Samantha, calm down, you sulky scallywag. It's just a straw hat. Straw hats are cool.
No, that's no excuse. No, they're not.
Were you even thinking about anyone else when you decided to shave your beard to a douchey little goatee like this?
It's just a mustache.
I'm a bloody pirate. I'm supposed to have a beard hair.
Just get rid of it
then.
Thank you.
Kill the straw hat. There you go. Pirate wolf. Kaiser-kun. What do you want out of you? Whatever.
And welcome back, SPN family, to another Wolf 420 Supernatural review. Episode 14, season 14, episode number 3, entitled The Scar. And so we get a brief recap of what happened in the past weeks. And then we go on to the episode right where we left off, basically, except for now we're back in the hallway of the bunker. And we got Sam and Dean talking, and Dean's, going on about how he can't stop thinking about it. It's a nightmare. And he can't eat and he can't sleep. And then Sam's just like, Dean, it's just a beard. That was hilarious. I like that scene. So, we have this scene with them talking, and Dean doesn't remember anything, supposedly, he says. And, Sam and him are walking down the hallway, and Dean's just like, I'm glad to be home. And then, but as he's saying that, he walks into the room, and it's full of all the army of hunters, and he stutters on the word home, like he's shocked. And Sam's like, yeah, a lot of stuff's changed. And, they called Sam Chief, and he's like, yeah, I try to tell them not to call me that, but they don't listen. And we continue on with this, big, steaming BM scene with Dean and Jack and Cass and Sam, and it's awesome. But, I'm always going to make the BM scene joke when I can, because it was funny when they did it in Supernatural all those years ago. So, we continue on. They have their moment, and we move on to Dean going to take a shower, and as he's taking off the shirts that he wore, he sees in the mirror the edge of a scar on his arm, and it goes to the intro segment, and we cut open on the scene of Dean talking to Sam and Cass, trying to figure out what this is, and he's like, I don't know how I got this, and he tells Cass that he needs Cass to reach into his brain, and he doesn't care, and they do. So they ask Dean what stabbed Michael, and they cut away to Dean calling Jody, because they recognize what it was. And he calls Jody, and they're talking about it, and she's brings up the fact that he got stabbed by a giant meat fork as he was trying to explain it. And it's good to see Jody again. I can't believe they didn't make their show yet. I don't know if they're gonna or what. But yeah, it's pretty cool seeing Jody. Welcome back. So we have them talk to her about what's going on, and Sam and Dean are packing up to go. Jack wants to join, but eventually they boils down to Dean saying that you're 100 pounds soaking wet, Jack. And Jack walks out of the room upset, and Dean's like, I didn't mean to be a dick. And then he continues on from there. A woman carrying a girl come into the bunker. They're talking about how they busted a witch and how they found all these aged girls and this girl aged and all that. And there's a case at the bunker now with Cass. And Sam and Dean are taking off, and they're driving to see Jody and investigate what happened with the giant meat fork and Michael and all this crazy shit. And they continue on from there. They're having a moment in the car with Sam trying to talk to Dean, and they're kind of fighting about it, but Sam's trying to force Dean to talk about his feelings, and Dean's refusing as usual. No chick flick moments, dude. Anyways, they continue on from there, pulling up to Jody's place, meeting up with Jody, reuniting, hugging. Nice little scene. We see them together again. We cut back to the bunker shortly after they say it's time to move out, and they said that we should wait for daytime, and Dean said hell no, and they moved out at night. Just keep that part in mind, though. 1 second. That kind of tripped me out as we'll get there. As we continue on from there, we cut back to the bunker, and Jack has a letter that he's leaving for Sam and Dean and Cass. And Jack starts leaving, but he overhears Cass and the woman struggling with the witch victim. And we continue on with this. Jack goes in there, and Cass asks if he's going to leave, going somewhere, and Jack says no. Now, he was about to run away, but now Jack's on the case. So what we're building here, apparently, is Jack and Cass on a case. Well, Sam and Dean and Jody on a case. So we cut away from there. Interestingly enough, we open on the scene of Sam, Dean, and Jody walking through the woods in daytime. Now last scene ago, they left at night. So I guess we time skipped the entire night. They were out there the entire night searching the woods and finding nothing. And now it's daytime and they found something. They head on a hike and they find the camp where the Darth bitch from the bad place was at, and Dean's investigating, and I don't know if this was a I don't know if this was a premonition or what, but Dean sees Kaya stabbing him. Spoiler. So Dean sees Darth bitch stab at him. And then eventually he turns his head and she is stabbing at him. So I don't know if he had a premonition or what. That was pretty trippy, though. No, yeah. They cut away from there to the first commercial break. And I'm not going to cut away to these messages from the Wolf Den. So, we cut back from there to a scene of Cass and a woman trying to cast a reversal spell on the withering girl as Jack is watching over. And apparently, Jack is trying to figure things out. They're all trying to figure things out. We're having emotional moments with Cass and Jack, and eventually they cast the spell, but the girl withers even faster. And we cut away to Dean and Sam and Joe. Well, actually, we only open on Sam and Jody walking through the woods, tracing after Dean as Dean is mad rampant on a hunt. And they're talking to each other about how Dean is not ready for the case. And Jody's like, well, maybe he needs it. And Sam's like, yeah. So they're tracking along. They're tracking Kaya, Darth Kaya. And eventually we see her foraging and looking for more food and trying to survive on the run. And eventually we show Dean knocking her out as she comes out of a place. And we cut back to Jack and Cass. And unfortunately, the girl they're attempting to save has died. And they're covering her. And Jack is upset. And he wishes he had his powers so he could save her. But eventually, Jack has an idea. And we cut back to Sam and Dean and Jody and Kaya, Darth Kaya. And they're talking. And eventually, Dean is trying to force everything out of Darth Kaya. And they are having a rough time of it. And she's telling him that he's just like Michael. And he's like, I'm nothing like him. And then she's like, yes, you are. And he's talking about, and then eventually it comes out that he's so aggressive because he's afraid. And he is so aggressive because he's afraid. And she stops and talks to him for a moment about how he's afraid, and so is she, but not of him. She's afraid of the monsters that Michael has sent after her. And they're talking about how these vampire bodies are not normal, because the vampire bodies are immune to dead man's blood, like the werewolves were immune to silver, and they don't know what's going on. And we cut back to Jack and Cass, and as Jack figures out what is happening, he figures out that the witch was draining the life force. And now that the witch is dead, the life force is on triple time drain. And then we cut back to Kaya and Dean, and she tells him what happened with Michael. Michael came and found her and said that she is new energy, and so is her staff, her spear. And Michael is trying to get it from her and says that he could kill her and take it. And they begin to fight. Dean tries to stop her from reminding him, but she continues as Dean is remembering the flashback of the fight and how she got the upper hand on Michael eventually and stabbed him. And Michael's after the staff because it's the only thing that hurts him. We cut back to Jack. And he figures out that the necklace that was on the girl's neck and on the witch's neck are linked. And the linked necklaces are what's draining her life force. And he shatters the necklace, and her life force immediately returns. And we cut back to the woods as the vampires are closing in on Jody and Dean and Sam and Darth Kaya, who's tied to a chair. And we cut away from there to the vampires coming into the cabin where Dean and Sam and Jody are, with Darth Kaya tied to a chair. And the vampires begin their assault. They break in the windows, and it's an epic fight. And oh my god, like, Dean and Jody and Sam were all on the, like, receiving end of a major ass whooping from these hardcore vamps. And they're fighting and struggling. And eventually, Dean shoots for the chair that Darth Kaya is tied up in to release Darth Kaya. And he says, now you're in trouble. But she takes off, jumps out a window. And Dean's like, oh, maybe not. And then they're still struggling, and eventually Darth Kaya busts in, shoves a spear through the back of a vampire's head, out his mouth. And then she cuts the other two's heads off, whips her staff around, and stares everybody down. And they thank her, and she's like, I came back to kill them, not save you. And so they part ways there, basically. And we go on to see Sam and Jody and talking to Dean. Oh, and as the vampires fought Jody, they broke her fucking arm. Broke her frickin' arm. And yeah, so that sucks. And Sam and Dean are trying to apologize. But Jody's like, you have nothing to apologize for. And she goes on how she's going to have a hard time explaining it to her one wayward daughter. And then with Claire, she's going to have a big fight. She regrets the consequences of her decisions already before she even made them. And I can kind of relate. Like, I've gotten to this point now where I don't even anticipate indulging in my addiction, the feeling good from indulging in my addictions. I anticipate the remorse of indulging in my addictions. Yeah, but whatever. I do what I gotta do. And where was I going with this? Oh, so the vampires are badasses now. And, you know, damn it, we just get an interesting thing. We now have bullets that can kill everything. Guess what? Now they can't. Because Michael is creating an army of monsters and infuse them with grace to make them immune to their weaknesses. And this is really insane. So we continue on. We have a nice moment with Jack and Cass. Beautiful talk. And Cass tells him today, you know, you got to train your body in order to be a hunter. But you showed that you have the mind and heart. And I'm going to try to get us on a trip. And it's a beautiful moment with Cass and Jack. But Jack starts coughing. Cass asks if he's alright. And Jack replies that, oh, I'm human now, so it's probably just my first cold. And Cass says, well, then I'll have to make you some soup. It was cute earlier in the episode when the girl asks if Cass is Jack's dad, and Jack smiles and says, one of them. That was cute. That was way earlier. Didn't address that point. So yeah, we have a moment. Then we cut back to Sam and Dean, and it turns out that Dean does remember what happened while he was possessed by Michael. Well, he doesn't remember what Michael used his body for. Because Dean remembers being trapped underwater, perpetually drowning. Oh no. Terrifying. Oh. He shouldn't have done that. Oh, what a terrible fate. Ben drowned from creepypasta. I don't know if you SPN family know much about creepypasta. I like it. Anyways, yeah. And I love anime. I'm just a total geek. I love everything. And Supernatural, I've loved for 14 years. That's amazing. Bloody amazing. Brilliant. Brilliant, really. Brilliant. Encore. Congratulations, boys. And let's see you for many more years. I want to see, like, season 25. Maybe. Something like that. Season 50. Doctor Who. Yeah. Anyways. That's a crazy moment Dean and Sam shared. And we cut to Jack at the end of the episode, coughing alone in his room. A wastebasket full of bloody rags as he just finished coughing blood into a rag. And thus, the episode ends. What the what? Anyways, yeah. Well, this has been another Wolf 420 Supernatural review. Season 14, Episode 3, entitled The Scar. I know. I mean, Episode 7 just aired last Thursday. And it's, oh my god. And we gotta get to that. We really do. Okay. But, yeah. Wow. I hope I can actually get caught up and get to Episode 7 by the time Episode 8 airs. Because, oh my god, they left me hanging, and I'm so mad. And just frantic. I gotta see. But anyways, yeah. This time, it is Season 14, Episode 3, entitled The Scar. And that'll be Wolf 420. And I know I'm cheapening the Wolf 420 experience right now by not doing much of the Wolf Den stuff, but, you know, we really are far behind, and I'm trying to get these caught up. And it's really difficult, and it takes me a week to make one of these videos. You don't even understand. But okay. So we continue. We will continue. So that'll be Wolf 420. And this will be another Supernatural review. Season 14, Episode 3, entitled The Scar. And always keep fighting. Have an awesome day. Be excellent to each other. And as always, people, peace out.